Good morning, and good morning. It's great to see you all this morning. I am Maisha T. Hill, and really grateful to be here with each and every one of you this morning. Excited for our live this morning. It's a quick and dirty live, because sometimes time is not on your side, and I hope you're having a beautiful start to your morning. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about Heal Your Way Forward. We're going to talk about bell hooks and why love is the work. But bear with me because I totally forgot to invite our friends on Substack to join us. And then when I put my email for Substack, I put friends because I just said the word. How's your Friday going this morning? I hope your Friday is off to a beautiful start. I hope that things are looking good for you. I hope that we are in the spaciousness of just joy and love and prosperity. I know there's a lot happening in the world and people are navigating it the best they can. The one thing I turn to each and every time with so much happening in the world is Afrofuturism and science fiction, written specifically by Black bodies, and looking at fantasy writing as well. And one of the things that I can tell you from sci-fi fantasy, it gives us something to dream differently about, and it gives us something to think differently about. So, I was in the Co-Conspirators collective yesterday, and I shared a quote by Bell Hooks around hopelessness. And it's normal to feel hopeless right now. I don't. Um, it's really interesting. I have no sense of, I spelled it wrong. I don't have a sense of hopelessness. I refuse to give my power away that way. Now, I do have a sense of the both and, the messy middle. And that's because I know that this system is dying. And I've had ancestors who's taught me how to survive. And to be Black in America is the practice of thriving um, and necessary survival. So I want to make sure I say that. To be Black in America is to practice thriving and necessary survival. And so I'm really grateful that my ancestors, my elders who are still alive, have left a blueprint on what it looks like to survive the times that we are in. And that is the one reason why I often, give me one second. I'm just making some updates on something. That is one reason why I continue to tell people on a liberation journey in a white body that if you want to know how to survive these times, you have to go to Black liberation teachers. Period. If you want to know how to survive these times, you have to go to Black liberation and or indigenous teachers because we know how to survive these times. But don't go to us to just consume information. Don't come to us to just piggyback off of us, invest, give care, give your time to donate, etc. Because what usually happens is white bodies, you come from the colonizer. So you'll come get information, you'll take what works, and then you'll go start your own thing. But remember, every time someone in a white body does that, how it's working now, usually it's taking years to get our rights through all of these policies. But it is my belief that the Black ancestors are working in overtime. So a lot of people think you're getting away with doing this and doing that. And in actuality, you're not. You're not going to get away with what many people have gotten away with, because what's happening right now, the collapse of America, historically, most empires last 250 years. It's 249. And the only people who know how to survive what we're living in, because they've been ravished by the colonizer, is Black and indigenous bodies. And this is why I'm telling people in white bodies who are on an anti-oppression liberation code, whatever the word is y'all are using right now, the only reason why I'm telling everyone to go to your Black and indigenous liberation teachers is because we know this level of survival. We have survived genocide. We have survived mass displacement. It's so funny. Keena Reed, I'll shout out to Keena Reed. I love how she says that, we talk about the Black migration, but what if that actually was forced displacement? What if that was actually running away from genocide? What if we looked at lynching like genocide? And I thought that was just such a powerful way to reframe and to look at the work. So if you're feeling hopeless today, if you are feeling like there's no way out, if you are feeling like just like, Oh, why? I want to just give you some words from the great ancestor who we're going to talk about, Bell Hooks, um, who I have been eating up her work lately. And it's like, how many more books can I read? Because I read a lot of Bell Hooks over and over again. And Bell Hooks links hopelessness to oppression. And the powerful quote that she says in Where We Stand, Class Matters. I hope you all have read that book. If not, that's okay. But Bell Hooks says that hopelessness generates inactivity. Hopelessness generates inactivity. And I just think that that is the most powerful thing that we can consider and think about today is the act of hopelessness generates inactivity. And so right now you might be feeling hopeless and you might be feeling defeated. And today, this beautiful Friday, is my invitation to not feel defeated, to find something that you can put hope in, and maybe you can't. And so I'm here to just give y'all a little bit of hope today because hell, why not? Um, I was trying to put the quote back up. I don't know what I just did. I just broke something. And so I don't feel powerless. I don't know if it's because I'm sleeping well. I took my heartburn medication. I don't know what it is, but I just want to give some hope this morning. And a lot of that hope is coming from the book Heal Your Way Forward, the Co-Conspirator's Guide to an Antiracist Future. And in the beginning of the book, I often I talk about, where is it? I write kind of like my ode to Bell Hooks, because I thought it was just really important to write this ode to Bell Hooks, because love, in fact, is the work, and that is the work that we do here at Heal Your Way Forward, or Check Your Privilege, however you know me. As you know, Instagram took down our account, and so, we're just making it shake. So Bell Hooks said it best. She said, the practice of love requires that we make time, that we embrace change. And this work must be rooted in love, not fear, guilt, or performance. And if you haven't read Bell Hooks' books, all about love, I want to inspire you to read that book. So I want to give just a little bit about why I talked about Bell Hooks, kind of sharing this kind of beginning of Heal Your Way Forward, right? Bell Hooks said that I want my work to be about healing. Hey, Sarah. Sarah's on Substack. You can't see my screen unless you go to YouTube or our Facebook at Heal Your Way Forward. I think on Facebook, we're still called Check Your Privilege. We're trying to hold on to a little bit of whatever's left of Check Your Privilege, wherever it is. So she says, I want my work to be about healing. And why does that matter? Because for me, as someone who's ordained in ministry, someone who loves the message of Jesus, I believe that Jesus is a consciousness that lives within all of us. There is something about my work being about healing. And it confuses a lot of people because they're like, what do you mean? Because liberation work is essentially healing from adverse childhood experiences, because a lot of people in white bodies were denied building relationships with Black and Indigenous folk. People of culture, yes. People of culture feel safe, but Black and Indigenous folks, because of oppression, because of colonization, people in white bodies did not have the gift of being in relationship with us. And so I said, how do we reframe this in the words of the great ancestors, from Bell Hooks to Audre Lorde, James Baldwin? James Baldwin talks about love not being a popular moment or movement. And so I said, well, what is my work about? And my work is truly about healing. And that's where I am in my life right now, realizing that for myself. And so when you open up Heal Your Way Forward, the first thing for me was about Bell Hooks, because I was so upset with myself that I didn't reach out to her, because I kept saying, I'm going to reach out, I'm going to reach out, I'm going to reach out. I think I did email actually, but it was too late. And so I just want everyone to know that I say for myself, just based on what I know about the work of liberation or anti-oppression, or whatever the word is this season, Bell Hooks is calling us into a love practice, right? And, this quote that's like about being rooted in love and love being the work. Bell Hooks said, right now, there is a profound collective cultural awareness that we need to practice love if we are to heal ourselves and our planet. And the task awaiting from us is to move from awareness to action. The practice of love requires that we make time and that we embrace change. And the gift that Bell Hooks left us behind is strategies on how to heal from systemic oppression. She left behind such a beautiful blueprint. Hey, Whitney, she left behind such a beautiful blueprint of what we should be striving for. So I do want to let you all know, over the next however much longer I have left on earth, I like to say that my work is the embodiment of the ancestors' work. It is imperfect, it is messy, because I am a Black American and I was socialized into whiteness, and I do my best to and not intentionally cause harm, but I cause harm. But moving forward, my work is about centering love as an action, and love being the work, and the work of liberation being the embodiment of self-love and self-awareness and reclaiming ourselves. And it is through the work of Dr. Yolanda Renee that I get to actually now teach everyone how to reconcile the self, because I am certified in self-reconciliation therapy as a coach. And bringing that in to teach us, actually the call right now is to reconcile ourselves so that we can heal our way forward. And reconcile ourselves and heal our way forward. So some really beautiful offerings coming in October, November, and December. But this is about bell hooks and why love is the work. So one of the things I want to share is that bell hooks tells us in All About Love is that love is not just a feeling, it's an action. She talks about the book like men are from Venus and women are from Mars. And she talks about the importance of like, we got to break free from these social norms about what love is. And I want to actually read to you what she says love is. And I don't have my books with me. I have to stop doing this. But Bell Hooks says that love is the combination of care, commitment, knowledge, responsibility, respect, and trust. And you can also read it in the book Communion, The Female Search of Love. Again, love is the combination of care, commitment, knowledge, responsibility, respect, and trust. But the real thing I want to say is that you can't really fully love someone until you actually love yourself. And in a society of oppression, in a system of oppression where whiteness is the ritual, it is hard to find self-love because the ritual of whiteness has a eugenics approach of what it means to really be that norm of beauty. It's a hot mess. But you can get there, and I'm getting there in real time. And I want y'all to use my life and my journey these last 5 years of that actual practice of love being in action. All right. And so it's not just a feeling of, oh my God, I feel so tender. And I can feel tender and still hate you. Someone can feel so much tenderness towards you and still view you as your competition. So we have to really remember that love really is not just this feeling, it is an action. It is a practice, and it starts with ourselves, right? The second thing I want to mention that's from kind of the beginning part of Heal Your Way Forward is that healing is possible when we grieve collectively. So if you are a person in a white body, what your invitation is in this moment is to know that you are being invited to grieve. We have a grief workbook. I don't think it's in the link right now, but I'll try to share it in the show notes. You have to crash out. I usually don't tell white people to crash out, people in white bodies, but you have to crash out, because let me tell you something. You are losing your privilege. You are losing your access. You're losing your rights. You're watching people get kidnapped off the streets. You are losing your free speech. Yes, be mad, feel the rage, move that rage, get it out of your body. But we are all being invited to collectively grieve, whether you believe it or not. The moment where you witness a child in America, okay, let's talk about gun violence in America. A school shooting at a school in America. A random shooting by a stranger, a young white-bodied male going in places and shooting up schools. I'm not going to talk. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to use the school reference. Shooting up schools. I'm not, as a Black woman, I have to be mindful of what I say. So even right now, you're getting strategy on how to survive the system because of free speech. Where they're just taking our free speech. So if you're in a white body, your invitation is, I need to grieve that my rights are being violated. I'm losing my privilege. I have to actually learn how to survive the next few years. What does survival look like when you've had privilege? What does it look like? Oh my God, I can't go out to eat. I can't, let me give you something real quick that you have to grieve, right? Maybe you were someone who used to be able to go out to eat at a nice restaurant once or twice a month. You can't do that anymore because your finances are tight, because the grief is so heavy that you're so afraid of spending money because you got to hold on to what you have out of fear that you don't know what's happening tomorrow. That is something to grieve. Have y'all not considered? That is something to grieve when you don't know if you're going to survive tomorrow. But do you know who does know how to survive? Black and Indigenous folks. And I am both. I am Black and Indigenous, right? We know how to survive these times. And again, reinforcing, if you are a white person on a specific journey, liberation, we'll use that word, you have to be at working in community, in relationship with the folks who know what it means to thrive and also survive in these times. And the first start is to acknowledge your grief and heal your way forward. There's a whole chapter on grief. The Room for White Tears, the same chapter that 2-3 years ago everybody was so controversial about, and now here we are, right? One of the things that I like to say is that my writing actually is tied into Afrofuturism because I believe in something different. I believe in hoping in something that's possible. And there is a gift in reaching for what I believe in, right? For all of us. So my second parent, healing is possible. We have to grieve collectively. We have to name it and we have to move it. And then this work, the third point is that this work is about becoming and not fixing. I'm here to tell all of us, none of us are broken. We were groomed in the system of oppression. If oppression is the cult and whiteness is the ritual, we were all groomed to uphold, especially in North America, we were all groomed to uphold the aspects of white supremacy culture in this country, including myself. I can be Black, but as long as I have the title of Black American, I have been groomed to uphold the same system as people in white bodies. The difference is that even with class, privilege does not really, it exists and it does not, both and all the time in my conversations, right? And so this work is about becoming. You're not broken. You just have to go back and remember who you are. And it starts with your childhood trauma. It starts with, how was I groomed into this? I was groomed into this. And you were groomed because your parents didn't know, because your parents were groomed. And your parents' parents were groomed. And you know who our parents were groomed by? If you're a person in white body, those old white colonizers. They had such a great vision for what the world would be that everybody's under a spell. Everybody is under the spell. And when you start waking up, you're like, what the hell is this? Which supports the second point of grieving. We are all under a spell. And I think that's why we're so hopeless. Bell Hooks says hopelessness generates inactivity. So if you've been in inactivity, if you've been feeling hopeless, that's normal. That is a normal human response to what's happening in the world. You are not a bad white person. There's no reason to feel guilty. If you are feeling hopeless right now, that is a normal reaction to losing your privilege. You must grieve it so you can move from the inactivity and move into action. If you see me looking around, I'm live on Substack, YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. So you have to feel it. And I know it's hard as someone who's worked with white body people for a long time. It's very hard to drop into your body. It is very hard to drop into your body. And you can learn. That's why we do direct, compassionate communication here too. So let's go over the 3 points. Love is not a feeling, it's an action. Healing is possible when we grieve collectively. And this work is about becoming and not fixing, because we're not broken. We've just been groomed to uphold the system and cause harm to each other. And so I have a soul work invitation for those of you who are watching the live today. And let me go ahead and give y'all something. Oops, that's not it. I'm going to have to. Something to think about for your scroll work for today. Scroll work. I want to invite you all to write a note or leave a comment under someone who inspires your healing. Share it or just sit with it. Think about someone who inspires your healing, and you can share it or you can just sit with it. That is your soul work for today. Every day I'll have a different form of soul work. You can even leave a comment on this live if it's helpful. Share it and then you can send it. All right. That is your soul work for today. And my last reminder is that we are still doing the 3K and 30-day Heal Your Way Forward funding raising to get more books into universities, etc. So you can actually, the little QR code in the corner, you should be able to scan that little QR code and you're able to, right there in that top left corner, depending on where you're watching from, it'll take you right here where you can give what you can. I think we've ordered 100 books so far. We've got some books going into universities. We've got some books going into some wonderful places. So we've got a couple of classrooms that are going to get books. We have some of you who are going to get books in the bracelet, and we've expanded the campaign. So we're going to be adding a little bit more and sending it in a custom packaging. So really, really excited. Thank you all for supporting that 3K and 30-day campaign. I really appreciate you all for being here with me today, for tuning in to the live, for being a part of the conversation. As always, if this was inspiring for you, if this made you think, you are always also welcome to buy me a tea at coffee.com/Maisha T. Hill, or you can shoot me Venmo at Maisha T. Hill. I want to thank each and every one of you for hanging out with me on this short and powerful live. I have to go now. I have an event to attend. I'm out of town for work. But until I see all of you all again, keep living into your work. You know, take these 3 points. Love is a feeling, not an action. Healing is possible when we collectively grieve. And the work is about becoming and not fixing. You are not broken. You are only becoming. Much love to each and every one of you. Have a beautiful day, and I will see all of you all later today. And if not, I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.